For this problem, we have h of s is equal to 3000 over s plus 3000. We are to create a straight line amplitude and phase Bode plot. So to do this, we need to convert our h of s to an h j omega. So we need to convert all of our s's to a j omega. That means we're going to have 3000 over our j omega plus 3000. Now we want to write this similar to this right here. So what we need to have out here is our kz1 over p1. That's going to leave us with a 3000 over 3000. And then we're going to multiply this by 1 over the j omega, because we're going to take that out. And then we're just going to have 1 plus our j omega over our p1, which is 3000. Now from this we can clearly see that these 3000s cancel out. You can also clearly see I forgot a parenthesis here, but that's beside the point. And now we can rewrite this as just 1 divided by j omega, and then we have 1 plus our j omega over 3000. And so this is our equation that we're going to have to graph. Now for our Bode diagram, since we're only graphing the phase, we are only caring about the angles. So we'll set this as 0, and then we'll write this as like 90 degrees, and then this will be our negative 90 degrees. And then when we look in the x domain, because our y domain is a dB and the x is our omega, we are going to have in here a 0.1, and then we're going to have 10 to the 0th, 10 to the 1st, 10 squared, 10 cubed, and so on and so forth. And so now with that done, we can look at the two parts we have. And these two parts are our j omega, and then this 1 over 1 plus j omega over 3000. So let's look at the 1 over j omega first. Now this can be found in the notes linked below the like button, page 97, the summary of Bode straight line magnitude and phase plots. And so for this, we basically have a 1 over j omega, and then parentheses, and then an n. This n is going to really decide our slope. Since for this problem, like the previous ones, we only have a 1 in here, it's going to be of 20. We know that each of these are like 20. This would be 40, 60, 80, and so on, and then the same in the negative direction. But since we just have a 1 over j omega n, this is just going to be a negative 90 degrees. So when we draw this in the Bode diagram, we're going to have this. And this is a slope of 0, so we can write 0 right here. Now we're going to look at the next part, and for this next part we have 1 over, we have a 1 plus our j omega over 3k, and this is n. Our n again is 1, so slope is just 20. And now looking at the chart, we can see that we go from p over 10 to p times 10. Our p is 3000, so we are going to go from 300 to 30,000. And so these are our 2 points. Looking on the graph, we can see that our 300 is approximately right here. And then our 30,000 would be somewhere along the lines of right here. And so looking at this, we can now graph our part. So everything before the 300 is 0. So this is a slope of 0. And then everything after that, because we have an n for 1, or we have a 1 for n, is just going to be 45 degrees. So this is going to be 45 degrees until it reaches this 30,000. And then from here, we're just going to have a straight line. And this is at 90 degrees. And I did this totally backwards. Per the chart in the notes, I wasn't looking, but it should be going in the negative direction. If we had zeros, so if we had something in the numerator instead of the denominator, we would be in the top part instead. So it's going to look like this, and then it's going to go here. So this has a slope of negative 90 degrees, and this has a negative 45 degrees. When we look in here, we can see we have 0 degrees for omega, negative 45 degrees for omega, and then negative 90 for omega. So in this, we know that we have 0 degrees as long as our omega is less than this 300. So we're going to have 300 in here. We have a negative 45 degrees when our omega is 3000. So our 3000 is approximately right here until we have this negative 45 degrees. And then our negative 90 degrees is right here, and it's when our omega is greater than or equal to 30,000. And then this part right here is going to be our WC. So our WC is 300 or sorry, 3,000 rads per second. And then the ADB is 1 rad per second, and we're going to plug this into here. We're going to say that we have a 20 log 10 with our K naught, and we know that our K naught is just 1. And that's not because of this right here. Our K naught is the 3,000 over 3,000, and that makes it a 1. And so plugging this into a calculator, we know that we don't even need to plug it into a calculator because the log base 10 of 1 is just 0. And that's how we would fill out this problem.